Hey, traders. Welcome to the stream. It's the 18th. It's Tuesday. And Bitcoin's done nothing, right? Down 1%. It went up, tested 19,650 again, second day in a row, and reversed there. But it's still above that candle low close from June 18th, 18,950. So here we are. Each candle represents 24 hours here, and you can kind of understand why. It's just like Bitcoin analysis. Don't worry about it, bro. Don't worry about it anymore. Just gonna sit here and do nothing. So that's it. Same thing that happened yesterday happened today, I guess. Now you go to the 4 hour. I guess you could look at the fact that those levels, you can more clearly see the sheer respect. Testing the top, now testing the bottom of that zone. And reversing there, 3 black crows it looks like, but you know, not making lower lows technically yet. But just wow, man. Wow. Fun market. Definitely a fun market. That's kind of it, man. That's it. Thanks everyone for being here, despite, you know, the sideways crab movement. Or here it is. Here's Ethereum that you think, hey man, is it Wyckoff accumulation? We're certainly rectangling. But lately, what's going on? I mean, you see these highs here. All of those highs are lower than lows from before, and now you're selling off, making lower lows, and now you're making lower highs, 2 different lower highs than the previous highs. 200 moving average rejected, tested and rejected. First time since 5 weeks ago, roughly. And that's it. I know, riveting. So much development on these markets. It's like you have to be here every 10 seconds to see the craziness. Yeah, man. After the big plunge, clearly the people that sold have certainly not re-entered. Have they? No. Still substantially lower than 1776. All right, going sideways. Lower highs, lower lows consecutively for going on a year. BNB. Nothing's changed. Nothing. Just sitting here, buy wall, lower highs. That's it. Crazy. I know, man. XRP. Starting to sell off a little bit more. You got 47 minutes until the lowest close since October 3rd. Be covering the previous candle, but that divergence, as we were just talking about yesterday, hasn't really begun to play out much, but it could take a minute. So it's slowly but surely trying to play out as we speak every day, right? That's it. You'd think if the divergence is going to really play out, we go lower from here, but it's not going to go much lower with Bitcoin doing nothing for months on end. Cardano about, wow, see, not all coins created equal. Cardano's about to make the lowest daily candle close since January 31st, 2021. That's really bad. That will be, you'll be falling below the highest weekly candle close from 2018 on this chart. You'll be falling below that. But that's, you know, this makes more sense. Okay, this is the price action one should probably be receiving after so much distribution. Support's being broken. Could you just imagine if Bitcoin actually dumped, what would happen to Cardano? That's like that's the main concern, you know. You gotta know how bad these alts are gonna be wrecked if Bitcoin blushes. Wow, freeze warning tonight. Freeze these markets. That's already happened. All right, so Cardano, of the bigger coins, in the most precarious situation right now, I would say, of all of them. Yeah, because where you are and what you're about to do in 45 minutes. No other coin's doing that, really. I don't think, making its lowest low of the, like where traders are settling up to close the daily, the lowest low of the entire downtrend. This is the most long extended downtrend of all of them, where mostly everything reversed, topped out in November. This one is an anomaly, right? It topped out in September, and it has been in a bear trend ever since. All the same. Cardano and Sol down 3%. And just, wow, it's down. It was up yesterday, 5-6%. It's down 3% today. You can't even tell. I mean, just wait till 20 bucks. Probably your best thing to do is just wait. But hey, look, if you look left, man, it's really tough because you're like, hey, you're in between the historical levels, right? Where it's either 37 or 21 bucks, and you're in the middle. So have fun. I just think the way the trend is prevailing, yeah, 20 bucks eventually, fresh lows at some point. It's just everything's waiting on Bitcoin. I guess Bitcoin's waiting on the index funds or something. Doge only down 0.33%. Wow. Yeah, you're below 6.5 cents. You can't be bullish. All right, you get it. Below 6.5 cents long enough. You think probably 4.2 cents. Just, it's not going to happen if Bitcoin doesn't move. Nothing is really going to move, I guess, except Cardano when Bitcoin doesn't move. Got down 1.4% today. Like nothing happened, really. You know, sideways. Still waiting for 550. If 550 ever breaks, look out. You're going to 360. Yep, that was it. That's your crypto. Let's look at total real quick and show you what total did. And, you know, who cares? It's look, okay, all right. Yeah, well, that's great and all. It did test and failed to break the supply line that goes back to August. So multiple month downtrend. You tested and failed. You tested the 200 moving average and failed, but you're below it. But whatever, you know, what if it just breaks it now? Saying so far with the data received in the last 24 hours, a failed breakout attempt of this channel and a failed break above the 200 moving average, a simple back test, first time since October 6th. And that's it, man. You know, if you're below this level and it's actually real, you'd think the target again would be 840 to 850 billion for another test, but that hasn't happened yet. So, and how's it going to happen unless Bitcoin dumps? I mean, Bitcoin's, if total's making its way back down to 840, 850 billion, that means Bitcoin's way lower than where it is right now. No audio check. Too loud, too quiet. Mods. Just saying before we get through the, because I was like crypto, man. That's like it's the story of your life. That's it, man. Major bear market for the greater part of a year, and now since assets have been so destroyed, there's been so much selling throughout the year, incessant selling. You've gotten down to these deep abyss levels where it certainly looks like more downside is probable based on the macro and everything, the direction, momentum, everything, what's going. But being down at these abysmal levels, like talking about 80% losses, 70% losses on most assets from the top, there's just not as much selling pressure. It's just not as hot as it was because, you know, I mean, even with the context going on, you're always going to have far greater, or I mean, more limited downside when you get to these levels. And so when you get to levels like this, inflection points from previous cycle, you sit there for months. And we're just I think on the tail end of that lull, that consolidation, where eventually the resolution, massive upside, break, or down. You think down more, but again, I mean, just too many the shorts and the puts. It's way too crowded of a trade, so we must have pain. We must delay the crash, the circuit breakers, the bad stuff. Maybe until after the elections or something. Because that's what you got today. You got another squeeze today on equities. A lot of things, they fell below supports last week, or they had been below them, but this week on the squeeze, they're all rallying back. Well, not all of them. A lot are rallying back above key inflection points for the second time, really. But yeah, the big sell-off came intraday in the afternoon when it was reported that Apple will be cutting their iPhone 14 production. And that's that drove the market down. You could see Bitcoin fell off a cliff with that news being reported. So you have like 300-year plus established German companies that all went insolvent today. They're gone, dude. 100+ years. What you got? My God, man, it's just, there's all kinds of things like every day. It's like cue the composite operator, So like, demand for houses again hit like multi-year low. Yeah, real estate market's imploding. It's been imploding, and every day new data comes out and shows you it's, I don't know, imploding. It's just correcting. It's not crashing. We don't have an '08 going on with real estate. We just had an inflated asset class that is in a correction, and it will continue to correct, and it's probably going to be crazier than you think. But yeah, you do across the market, across the country, have dramatic price decreases for sure. So you keep waiting, you're going to get better prices. I mean, right now, Bitcoin is certainly just another tech asset. It is correlating as a tech asset would, or a risk-on asset. But yes, clearly tech, because growth and all that. Okay, so, well, it's not all bad. It's not all like crazy. I mean, well-established downtrend, and then I go to something like Uniswap that it's just like, how do you not see it? It's like, it's terrible. It's breaking a downtrend, right? It bottomed out in June, but look, it's making higher lows now. And all of a sudden you just see this and you're like, I mean, I see it. I don't know how much faith I can have in this, but it's pretty effing symmetrical, is it not? I mean, it's a proper neckline at $7. It's there. You don't have that hidden bullish divergence combo, but I'm just, in a bear market, a really well-established bear market, below the 200-day moving average. This is developing here. Kind of interesting. It's up today, 3%. Wait until it's down 3% tomorrow. But again, and it's tough, man, because like Bitcoin has the bearish argument and the bullish argument. If I go back to that before we switch to stocks, so man, you legit have. I mean, it is not invalid yet. An 886 harmonic, right? Like this, you can see it. It reacted there multiple times. It's not dead yet. Like, this doesn't, according to Casey Stubbs, I mean, these harmonics don't become invalid till they fall below the X point. And Scott Carney has the HOP, the band action, or the harmonic optimum price indicator, that is lower than the X, I believe. And so, if you were just having an aggressive stop loss, it'd be around X or lower than X, and then your targets would be probably A and C or higher. It's just not stopped out. It's not dead yet, that it's not. But then you go, wish without that idea, and you understand it is a right angled ascending rotting formation bearish continuation right here. Right. So you have two different schools of thought. You think with the partial rise that your probability is greater you break down, but it doesn't mean that that shark, type 2, whatever, can't break upward. It's just... And it's most of the time not like this. Right? But again, I just have to go back to the thing's been destroyed. 70%. It's down more than 70%. From the top, it's down 72%. At its lowest point, it was down 74%. I mean, a bearish continuation identified after an asset's lost 72 to 74% of its value. Sure, it's trends prevailing, and yeah, probably going to break down, but it's not like you're identifying a bearish structure near the top, or hey man, you've only from the low down there to the high, you've only retraced 40%, 30% or something. I mean, yeah, now you're getting to deeper retraces, but yeah, it's tough, man, because you're below the cycle top. So I don't like Bitcoin when you're below this level. I don't like it. But what if the shorts trade is too crowded, too many people own puts and need to pay a price, and we squeeze first before then collapsing later? Really tough time, man. Really tough. And you know what I'm talking about. If you're like a regular streamer or you're a regular viewer of the stream, you've been watching for years or whatever, it's normally not this conflicting. I mean, a lot of times it's like no brainer, duh, higher probability. Yeah, okay, you're like at a top and you're showing bearish divergence and there's a rising wedge, and okay, there's not really much controversy. Now you're just getting to, there is more controversy here. So hope you just get that, man. Like, you're kind of, I think the partial rise was giving you a 7% chance to break downward with the trend prevailing. That also helps your chances of it breaking down, but it hasn't broken down yet. There are not enough sellers. There haven't been enough sellers for 3 months now. No, like almost like 4 months now. Like 4 months, not enough sellers to break this level where you are. They're defending. But they're not doing, like, those people that are defending the level, there aren't that many of them. We know that based on the price action that occurs after the buyers defend that level, right? What's happening? It's becoming evident there are less and less of them. That because the rallies after each hold are getting more and more abysmal. And I'm talking about including, like, right now, the past
even
week.
Thought these markets are perma-bear. It's a good thing we can always count on Pulse Dogecoin to take us to the promised land.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Thank God for Pulse Doge chain coin. Thank you, dude. Post Maloj. See how good that is? I've said the words so many times, I just keep saying random stuff now. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. Right. So nice job, buyers. Michael Saylor and, El Salvador's president. But after they hold it and the sellers relent, there's no follow through. Or the follow through that occurs. Okay, here's one move and here's the next one. It's just kind of like, they defended it like one time, really, a 16% markup after defending it. I'm talking about from that level. And then you have, after the buyers defended that level that we're seeing now, another time it went up 18% in a week. And then they defended it for a third time. And that's where we said, hey, man, rule of three times showing class accumulation. It looked interesting. It's like, they ran this thing up 28% in the first 10 days. But then eventually the top of this, this is like the event. The buyers defended, okay, and then you had a 33% run in a little over a month. But then you just go back to, okay, then it sells off again, stalls, and the buyers defended again. And then you got a 20% rally, and then they defended it again, really, and then all of a sudden you're just getting, oh man, like a 8%, 9% attempt by the bulls, the buyers. And now you're getting, so far, now it's like, unless something changes, it's pathetic now.
Post Doge Mellowed coin is my favorite part of the night. Every night I can't stop laughing every time.
Wow, dude. I don't think ever in history have we had every single contribution that has occurred on the stream so far has noted Pulse Meloche Stone Chain coin or whatever it's called. Thank you. All right, so you can see buyers are trying, but where's the big money? It hasn't come in yet. It may not, and that's where I'm at. That's why I'm just like, there are two ideas that are valid. This isn't a valid idea for downside. Then you go to the shark, and you know it's not invalid yet. It's not invalid yet. Oh, okay. So what's possibly helping Bitcoin hold this level? Certainly the index funds, where, you know, huge rally on Thursday, then Friday, a big dump, and then a gap up, 2+% yesterday, now another gap up. It's just a squeeze. And yeah, like a low and then a second low maybe, and this could turn into something greater than you think. But yeah, the buyers defended that area, the September 2020 level for now. You even went down to almost really refill the gap. You were kind of off though. So this squeeze can continue because there's too many a-holes and shorts and puts. Pretty much it, right? So keep squeezing.
Post Meloche, my Dogecoin is a Jesus.
Oh, there you go. 3 of them. 3 tips total on the stream. 3 Post Malone Dogechain coins. Thank you, dude. Post Meloche. Am I suddenly bullish today? No. I mean, like, I think you might, like, there might be something wrong with your ability to take in information if you think I'm suddenly bullish today. I don't even know what to say. Like, I think I've done the best I possibly could at articulating where I stand on this market. And if, like, you're coming to, hey, it's bullish today, bearish today, bullish, every day, man. It's like we have 2 technically valid arguments on Bitcoin, unfortunately. And the context isn't your best friend because the sell-off's been going on for almost an entire year now. So anytime that happens, you could break upward and it could just squeeze the shorts because everyone's bearish, right? Yeah. Okay, S&P squeezing, Dow Jones squeezing, they're all squeezing, right? Gapping up. Look at your, hey, it's the dragon. Remember yesterday, you broke it technically. You broke the supply line. You've gapped up. Open gap. When's that gap gonna fill? Normally fill pretty fast, don't they? But yeah, I mean, could be the beginning of a bear market rally or not. I have very little faith, but I understand, like, when you get beaten down to these levels and then you fail a couple times and then bids come in, it's like, hey man, confirmation of a very short-term bottom for now. And we saw the same thing in July. Heck, in actuality, you saw it almost every time. I mean, for real. Look, you get big waves down and then, you know, there's bears one time and then the bears push the price actually lower this time. You can have lower lows or higher lows for confirmation, right? Confirmation bottoms or tops. And it goes the same on the other side. I mean, you have, and this is just educational in itself, right? You have confirmation tops, right? But then you have, like, you go to the 3-day or the weekly, and these 2 tops that are discernible on the daily become only 1 top. But on the weekly or 3-day, you see this 1 top and this top, and that's a confirmation high, right? So, and that confirms distribution. So, but even here, right? I mean, it's just stuff to look for on index funds, on individual assets, on all markets, all charts, right? You didn't have 1 bottom. You had 2. You had 2 bottoms. Even here, I mean, like, look, it's just countless times. For you know, it's not the first time. It's always that second time that ushers in a larger wave up. Even here, 1 and 2 before a wave up. And though, yeah, buyers were exhausted. That was all-time high. Feds got, you know, banned from trading stocks, so they all sold for ethical reasons right around the beginning of the year. Probably not correlated, right? Okay, so yeah, you've somehow found a second low on crazy, weird, psycho day. And it's ushering into your highest prices since September 21st. And who knows, could go higher from here. Yeah. NASDAQ, you know, gapped up. Look at this thing, opened at 10,953. So you can tell how easy it is to move these markets now. It's so illiquid. And then they pushed the price down to what it seems like they filled the gap at 10,674 and rallied it. And then you closed still below 10,823, which is, I think, a pretty real level. You're below it still. You know, I think maybe the S&P and Dow Jones look better. Maybe the Russell 2000 even looks better. I wonder if we have some sort of like supply line here. You know, like, dang, man, that's like kind of, you were maybe breaking it. Like the Dow Jones, you saw it broke the supply line. It looks like the NASDAQ, like, it broke it by opening it, but then closed below it. So not as good. But yeah, you had that divergence here. You know, seller exhaustion and downtrend can turn into reactions and rallies that probably don't take you as high as you think. But, you know, before the 6-week, 2-month bear market rally here in June, you ended up getting some divergence as well. So, yeah. And here you go, right? The as we were looking at yesterday, could be a second low. The second low wasn't here, though, right? Was there a second low October 12th? No, not yet. There was a massive green candle, and it's like, well, let's see what happens. Oh, dang, man, dark cloud cover. But then you gap up on Monday, and now you're gapping up again. It's like, hey, you're above the 2018 high and the pre-COVID crash high. You know what's above this. Look, a straight up, straight down, up, down, up, down. That's all that happens. So if you can't be really that surprised if all this just developed and now we're breaking supply line and historically, we know 1926 is the next target. What if it rallied there? Are you in a bull trend if we rally from here? No, you're not in a bull trend long term. You just made your lowest low, or the same low anyway. But yeah, I mean, could be, right? This is on the 3-day, one valley, this is second valley on the 3-day. But, you know, locally on the daily, you can just discern 2 valleys, which, so you get that. You get, you know, like on significant time scales, you could sometimes on the second valley get an inverse head and shoulders or double bottom. But if you scale out, you go to the more significant time scales, you can't see those, but it's the second bottom. So there you go, man. Another day that most of the price action happened pre-market when you can't do anything. That's what's been happening. Market conditions, super illiquid. And this type of price action doesn't happen in bull markets. It only happens in bear markets. Okay. Hope everyone's having a good day. But I'm just trying to make sense more of like just what's happening, and every day it's like, what? Gold, unfortunately, there's no change in gold. You can't be bullish below 1677, 1682. You just can't. You especially can't be when you're below the supply line too. You fail to break it. You made another lower high than previous high. Maybe it pivots here, man. Maybe if you get, all right, you break the supply line, get back above 1682, it'd probably just end up doing what the index funds are doing, I guess, right? Everything's tied together. But yeah, I mean, below 1682, it's a no-brainer that eventually you're going to see 1500 or 1450. Well, let's see what happens. It's the VIX, man. The VIX dumped. And the VIX drives everything, just about. Here it is, right? They tried, and this is what we were talking about yesterday. I guess they've just figured it out. They know that everything is driven by algorithms and bots correlated to the volatility index. And if they can keep it just around this level and they don't let it go to 40 and beyond, then we'll have a soft landing. Right, look, here's 40. They know what happens at 40. You never did it. Even in late January, the highest high of the year on the volatility index, 38.9. Didn't see 40. So you think about if this is the daily and this thing does this, you could certainly imagine. I mean, if it's doing that, you know Bitcoin's most likely rallying. You know, the index funds are gonna, what we're identifying, maybe the second lows, they might catch more significant rallies off of them. You know, the VIX is gonna look like this if those things happen, and vice versa. If this thing's going down to test $26 again or $25 again, we know those index funds, those individual assets are gonna be making rallies. Bitcoin too, probably crypto, all the cryptos, probably gold too. This thing if it sells off. They're doing it's kind of a spectacular job. Keeping it below 40 for the entire year of 2022. You're talking about a 60-40 portfolio of asset allocation between equities and bonds. It's the worst year ever in human history, and it's not even close. And the VIX isn't over 40. Crazy. Makes you think, man. Last time the volatility index saw 40 was November of 2020, October, November of 2020. Okay. DXY, okay. Well, the double top bros are probably sitting in the chat right now. Double top, man, double top, lower high. Well, remember about trend analysis. Lower high in an uptrend, lower highs can happen. They're allowed to happen, a lower high. So what happens after the lower high gets put in though? That's the question. So from here, if the DXY begins taking out previous lows, and then off the lower low, it then rallies and makes another lower low, that's when you know there's a possibility the trend's beginning to reverse, right? Because then you're getting consecutive changes of behavior in the trend, which is a trend of consecutive higher highs, higher lows. All of a sudden you'd be getting lower highs. Look, you have the highest high and the highest low of the entire uptrend, right? September 27th and October 4th. But now you've somehow put in a lower high. That happens. Lower highs occur sometimes. Oh, you got lower highs, in December 2021. They're not that. They're very rare. They don't happen that often. You can see a couple local lower highs here in March 2022, but normally look a higher high in the previous high, higher high in the previous high. Then you sell off. Then your previous low never even comes close to being threatened. Then you rally. Even here, higher high in the previous high, I guess. Sell off, higher low, higher high, higher low. But now all of a sudden, lower high. So it's like you can't even you could just have your eyes closed until someone's like, hey man, a lower high was put in. Now we can open our eyes and say, all right, man, that's step one of multiple steps that have to occur before the trend becomes reversed based on just trend analysis. Okay, so we need a lower low next, and then after the lower low, we would certainly want to see a lower high. And that might take, my God, another month. So we got at least something to look at here. Is this the beginning? Certainly still a bullish trend, but is this the beginning? We don't know because we need a lower low, and then probably after the lower low, we need a lower high. And then to roll over and start really going. You cannot say the DXY is in a trend reversal now. It's too early. We need a few more data points. Okay. DXY, VIX, driving the markets, currency pairs, everything. Let's go since, it's on the thumbnail. Let's look at Apple, where, gapped up tremendously. 145.57, hit a high today of 146.72, sold off all day. It was really about all that production cuts on the iPhone 14. And then, of course, eventually after that news, it rallied a lot and went and closed at 143.72, filled a gap. It could continue. I really could. One low, a second low could be getting put in right here. But you are, below that high from January 2021. So if we draw a supply line here, it's similar to the index fund's own supply lines, as you can see. No breakout yet, but that could be as early as tomorrow, right? But you can see it from the high August 17th, high from September 12th, pretty much a high from September 21st, and now you've tested it and failed day, right? So that's Apple. You think that news would be terrible, like wow, but not so bad because it's up 0.56% after hours. And yesterday was the first level of positive momentum Apple had seen since August 19th. So it's been like 2 months since there was any positive momentum on the daily, and now you're getting it yesterday and today. They can see it. So, hey man, if a rally ensued, all that, all right, sure, I get it. A big wave down, the wave down that lasted a couple months kind of ended with, 57 days, 2 months, right? And Apple lost 23.6% of its value at its high to low. I mean, yeah, okay, a rally ensues off that. And it probably just turns into what? Another lower high than the previous highs. But since it's like a market driver and it's probably one of the best, assets in the world, it's the highest market cap, it could end up doing something similar to what it did, right? We had identified the supply line here. When it broke it, mother of God. When it held the support from history, my God, it turned into an 886, and that was it. So what if you got something very similar to that where, I don't know, man, just a fractal here. It's a little too shallow there on B and C, really. But just imagine how ludicrous this would be, right? The same thing happened and a full 886 occurred again. It would be too crazy for the mind to conceive, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. The squeeze, right? Too many people in shorts and puts right now, so okay. People are just gonna get. It's not like it's probably those people that are in the puts, right? They're not off in ways because the macro, the lower highs, lower lows, the trend's your friend, but they could be off not in waves, but in waves with a V, waves. Right, because just you're in a downtrend, and it's your lower highs, lower lows for a while now, right? But when a wave can complete in a downtrend, and a new wave can begin, and if people are shorting the bottom of the waves, at 886s, at profit-taking levels of a shark, if someone shorted here, yeah, they can get caught and with their pants down and get destroyed, and then they end up just getting on the wrong side of the wave. And so they end up capitulating by the time this wave ends at a much lower high than previous highs. They sell or they close their puts at a massive loss, or their shorts at a massive loss because they're squeezed. And then the reversal begins, and they're caught on that bad, they should be doing the opposite of what they're doing, but they're doing, hey man, it's already down so much, it's gonna break support. But man, it just dropped 24% in 2 months. So it might go up next, right? The issue with Bitcoin is it's been 4 months and it's done virtually nothing. So it's kind of like, that's why I'm kind of losing my mind with Bitcoin a little bit. Because at least with this, it's like, at least on the index funds, you kind of could understand because the wave down just happened. It was nice. Bitcoin's wave down was in early June. And we had this scrub wave up to 25K once, and then it's over. You're back to the same prices you were at 4 months ago. It's like dead. Yeah, and okay, they might do that, I guess. God, I'm trying to think about what they would do. Yeah, maybe they, after the wave up, the scrub wave up, the lower high and the downtrend, they buy calls at the top because they finally flip or something. Don't see how or why they would do that, but yeah. Okay, that's Apple. Let's look at Netflix that you thought was doomed before the squeeze, but hey, earnings. As I said yesterday, these things are so destroyed. They're so oversold. They've been sold for so long and they've lost so much effing value that you have to think about earnings now, the new variable of stupid, where hey, they might have a bad earnings and it's priced in already and they pump anyway. Well, Netflix beat on their earnings, right? I think they had, today, what was it? Higher EPS, higher revenue. But one thing, and I can't even believe this chart, this asset, this shows how much clown world we're in. It's at 273 after hours, up 14% right now. But the headline isn't telling you that they guided down for the fourth quarter 68%. So the next quarter, the revenues, right, or their earnings per share, I believe, is going to be down 68% year over year from last year, right? Last Q4 and the Q4 coming up. But hey, man, great. Rejoice, because who cares? Everything's already been killed. And now that, hey, it's really easy now. So, I mean, you're in a level where it can go to 335. Look, up, down, up, down, up. Yeah, it could go up 335, but probably it's going to happen. It'll open and probably just fill the gap tomorrow or something. But, yeah, God, it was, look, man, you were below the levels, right? But the buyers came in and somehow you closed the day above that key level. And now it's earning, and you're going to be getting this insane stuff everywhere because of earnings season. Like, you thought it was tough then, it's real tough now, because anything that makes sense is going to inverse on these earnings. So it's like, it's not just you're not flipping a coin on earnings, you're not flipping like 3 coins or 4 coins, whatever. Okay, so those are the 2 on the list. Oh man, still some assets down today, despite it being a pretty good day. I mean, Facebook, right? I don't even know. Like Facebook, it's up 1.5% after hours. Probably has something to do with Netflix. Netflix is 14% pump, but I guess some divergence. But hey, here's the thing, right? These assets fall below these key inflection points from 2016, right? Like hard, it's over, but then the squeeze, and now you're above them. Now you're literally like right at it, above it. I mean, this is where, a rally up to like 150 could happen, and it doesn't mean Facebook's good. Doesn't mean it's a good asset that has a great future in front of it. It just means that things have been destroyed and you're above an inflection point. And yeah, why don't you could do what you've done historically, which is up and down and up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, then up. Makes a lower high than the previous highs and rolls over again later. And then yesterday you had like all the banks like pumped on because of Bank of America. And Bank of America, God, year over year, all these banks are down like 50+% on their revenue, except Bank of America, which is only down 8%. So I guess that's why you had Bank of America pump on earnings. Like here's a bank, dude. It gapped up today. It's squeezing. Is there a reason for the squeezing? No. No, man. Just getting extremely oversold, and getting near inflection points, but yeah, look at the lower highs. Look at the distribution. Look at the less market participants owning the asset than they did before. What just happened was the most recent event, the lowest low of the downtrend. So does this mean that we're bullish again? Good God, no. But you can't understand that the asset, all these bank stocks, they at the lows as of like Thursday, this one's down 44% in less than a year. So yeah, when you get down 40, 50, 60, 70%, means there could be a scrub wave, a scrub rally. Okay, there was a request, right? We got 7 minutes till daily close. If you're enjoying the live stream, hit the like button, bullet sub. Thanks for being here. The GLT crashed. Oh wait, no, that was yesterday. Sorry. Yeah, Jeffrey, we just talked about it. Down, 68% lowered guidance for Q4. But hey, it doesn't matter, man. No one cares. And that's what I was talking about earnings, man. It's just, it's gonna Walter White. Well, you think it's gonna, you think you're gonna beat Walter White? The equal and opposite's gonna happen. Walter White markets right now. Yeah, Pulse did it, man. Pulse Malone, Dogechain coin did it. Well, it broke 640 or 635. Sorry. And when you break 635, probably go into 884. That's the target, 884 from here. Very nice. Isn't it nice though when an asset that's so like whatever, I mean, it's only been around since April. Isn't it cool when an asset, you identify a key inflection point from its very short history, you can see. And then we're able to identify the breakout and then the back test. And it held. And it's like, if it stays above this long enough, 635 to 636, and if you ever break that, then probably 884 next. It's pretty nice. But we talk about the 886 too. Coming up 886, so at least 866 is your target from here. That's your upside. So you still have a little bit more upside potential. You got about 20% more upside, 19.69% upside from here before an 886. But if it ever broke that, I mean, you have a target of 1137 for price discovery if it's going to actually break the high from August 6th. So yeah, full reset from the low to the high, an 88% retrace. And only at the 886 did it rally, right? Pretty cool. I mean, it's like really cool actually. And it was an M shape. So I think we had plotted it one time in the past, but I didn't have to see. Right? It was it was a textbook bat pattern. Like, how does this happen on an asset that has like no data? A textbook bullish bat that meets all the criteria with a B point of 50%.
Can we look at seller/USDT Binance?
Solo bomb, sure dude. Thank you, man. It's a lower high on C than the 886 and no lower. It was perfect, and since it hit the 886, it's kind of unbelievable, right? Post Malone Dogechain coin is up 200% in 31 days. Wow. The savior of people's portfolios if they own it. But the question and the problem is why, it's probably not easy to buy, just like Hex. But there you go, man. It did it, yeah. Crazy. Crazy stuff. You know what this looks like? Just saying. In ways, not perfect. You look at this. And then you look at this. Not perfect, but remember SARK? It's the same picture, man. Yikes, dude. This one, oof. It's rough. It's having trouble, man. Oh, triple bearish divergence. This is the issue. You got this uptrend. It's been going very well for SARK. This is the short, non-levered short for Kathy Wood's fund, ARK, ARKK. But the issue is buyer exhaustion is extremely evident on the MACD histogram on the daily. You did close above $61 today, but after hours, because I believe Netflix and everything correlating to Netflix somewhat, it's down 2.36% after hours. So it is below that major breakout level from March of 2022. So it could be 1, 2, 3 on the third high. You get resolution, you sell off again, a more significant sell off. It's almost like a 3 drives, bearish 3 drives. But yeah, let's just see how the triple bearish divergence performs on shorting Kathy Woods. But I was just, here because I'm like, wait a second, we have this not much data, but then a harmonic in the middle, like Post Malone Dogechain coin or whatever, and then this similar context, right? For harmonic continuation. Yeah, we might as well just knock that out real quick. We got 2 minutes, 40 seconds till your daily close. 2 minutes till total closes below on the daily, back below that channel it's been in. It's August. Go. Really interested to see how this triple divergence plays out on SARK. I am. Celery Connect. Celery's given us a couple awesome harmonics in the past, but nowadays it's you're in a kind of a Bitcoin situation a little bit, aren't you, on this one? Bump and dump. Looks like Hex. It looks like every crypto out there, just about. But for some reason, somehow, some way, there is a level As you can see, it goes as far back as May of 2019, June of 2019. Those were valleys. This was a peak that gave you more reason to believe this is a very real inflection point, August 2020. And then as you broke it, you back tested that level that was once resistance became support. Undeniable level of inflection, right? Based on history. Okay. So here it is. It's the same development as Bitcoin, just about. Where it's a right angle descending broad formation, you know, sitting at support. But wait a second, it was sitting at support in May. So you can't say the buyers haven't had an unlimited amount of time to do something. And what they did was push the price up pathetically. I mean, like, you just talk about your previous discernible high that goes back to just April to the low. It was so trash, right, of a attempted rally that buyers could only retrace the asset from its high to low 23% of the time at its highest high. And that was August, when I think Bitcoin was around 25,000. And now look at you. You're just right back down at this level. Such a lack of demand. But hey, what do we know about inflection points? In inflection points, that's where reversals can happen. You're at it. So you're trying to get me to be like, okay, man, I think the inflection point, it's going to break now. We're going to dump. But dude, they can hold, and you can rally off of them. You're above it technically right now.
Jeffrey in super chatted $30. Dollar TMST temp can steal and dollar symbiotic stonks. Sir.
We'll look at it. The Botic stocks. Thank you, Jeffrey, man. Perfect timing on the contribution. You got some Jesus chimes. Thanks so much, man. Yeah, we'll look. Yeah, Pulse Doge doesn't even have 1 million volume in 24 hours. Yeah. Did you think it was going to have that? No one said it did. So there you go, man. You're at an inflection point. So it's hard to be like, time to short it now, because shorting at support, that might not end well at all. At the same point, buyers had so much time here and they haven't done anything, and it's just sitting here. It could break, and if it broke, then I think the target, without a doubt, is going to be 0.7 of 1 cent, which is way unbelievably lower. But it may not happen because buyers are defending it. You have like 48% downside if this level doesn't hold. But it's holding. It's holding, man. That's your seller. Yeah. Riveting. I know. Analysis. What do you want me to do, man? Right, it's already lost all its value. It's like 90% of its value is gone. But it's above support. So it's like, oh, after looking at something that crashed for so long like this, it's like hard to be like, man, yeah, dude, I have so much conviction on going short on this thing, because it's like, it's already at like global 886s. So probably going to be limited downside. But if it did break, you just saw straight down, down, and up. All that happens is it goes up and down 40, 50% in value if it breaks this, but it's holding it. Hey man, sometimes, like, it's a no-brainer, dude. No-brainer. We're not in like crazy recession environment like this, right? We don't have 100+ year German companies going bankrupt, multiple ones a day, right? We don't have Apple cutting production of iPhone 14s. We don't have UK pension funds possibly going insolvent soon. It's just the beginning. Right? We don't have housing prices, dropping 61%. The demand for housing dropping 61% year over year. There are many market conditions where we're not having all these different sectors. Oh, what about the car market? That one's getting destroyed too. You have so many areas that could just, oh, there it is. There's the terrible news-driven catalyst that takes us to the abyss tomorrow, but we don't know what sector it's even going to be in, because there's so many different vulnerable sectors right now, right? Of financial markets. So yeah, just saying, man, it's just sometimes when that's not all happening, yeah, man, it's a kind of no-brainer, man. Or not even no-brainer. It's just more like, well, this seems like a low-risk area. Sure. right, let's go to Bitcoin because local needs, man. I just glimpsed at XLM. It's terrible on the daily. Okay, so it's just, again, what I spent probably too much time talking about earlier, talk about again, where you're looking at Bitcoin that has a valid long. Because if you're talking about just, there's a formula, right? Like there has to be like a standard for harmonics, and it's like the standard for the harmonic is the M shape develops, then it gives you a second test, third test, whatever, holds it, never falls below the completion zone of the harmonic, meaning it's valid still. But after those, those buyers defend the level, not enough people buy it at all. And you're still below the previous cycle top. But then you just go to another chart without the harmonic, and people over here being like, hey man, that's a right angle descending running formation with a partial rise, and you're below that level. So it seems more likely we're going to dump here. So I don't know the directionality of Bitcoin, because there are arguments on both sides that make a semblance of sense. Yeah. It's not always like that. It just happens to be like that at this current time in this dead market. Okay, that's it. That's your local NAS, man. Here's your Ethereum, dude, that is holding. It's holding, but it's not making higher highs. It's just not. Right? It's like how you doing this? Like you're making this level, this local base of 1380 to 1400, and now since October 14th, Ethereum can't get above 1342. So like a new base, a new local high getting put in, and it's lower than the previous highs. And it's like, that's distribution. Very subtle, quiet distribution. For now, until it changes, we'll get more data. And tomorrow, 2 days from now, it's above those levels, fine. Talk about it then. But until then, all we can do is identify on the 4 hour these two highs that are lower than the other highs that are lower than these highs, and the highs before it and before it. So, TMST for Jeffrey. 477,000 volume, I can tell. Gap City, man. Gap City. Man. Really tough, isn't it, on this one? Holy crap. Oh, it's a demand line that's holding. Looks like it. It's an M shape. I see that. But it's more than that, man. Isn't it a little bit? It's just like you're below the 200 moving average. I guarantee you on the daily, you're below it too, right? Yeah, you're below it on the daily. Like these support resistances, right? I think these two were here, and then these all correlated to it after, and now you're below them. And it's just like, how are you somehow making a lower high here, then here, then here, then here, then here, every time? And it's like, I think if you're below that level, I would be really careful. But yeah, you probably requested this because this is very real. It's the first thing I kind of saw, pulling it up. It's an 886. It's in an uptrend. There's probably a demand line to boot. It's a demand line. Yeah. Kind of above that demand line. I see that. I get you. But kind of got this problem where you made the highest high, or you made the highest low, then the highest high. But then all of a sudden you made a lower low than the previous low. Then you made a lower high than the previous high. Now you've made a lower low than the previous low. Now you've made consecutive lower highs than the previous highs. So that's the trend you're trending in another direction right now, and it's been that way. I mean, the date was June when things, it looks like, began, but you put in that lower high July 6th. So yeah, there's a valid, it's just like Bitcoin. It's almost like, hey, there's a valid argument with an M shape and some supports being held, local levels being supported. But then you look and you see that in actuality you're below a lot of peaks that you should be above right now. So you're looking normally for a harmonic. Not in this type of situation. This is not a very good context for a harmonic. Not really. It's like, I think you're, value. That's like a harmonic is kind of like the epitome of value, at the end of a wave structure. So when you have a wave structure that completes, but the asset is so, from the low to the high, it went up over like 1,100%. And it's still up like 630% since the COVID crash low. What if something like this is going on? You've got this now in development, the same anchor point, eventually. So those are things just maybe to pay attention to. I guess you're kind of above the demand line. You're completed the shark, but you're making lower highs and you've already made lower lows. Tim can steal SYM biotic stocks. What's up? What are you talking about? Biotic? Like bots? Energy minerals, steel, and then symbiotic. Been here somewhat, haven't we? You must have requested it. We had the supply line. It was the second low, the bullish divergence, the inflection point. Yeah, this was at some point you had requested this. So buyers got the price back above $11, and it's been number go up since then. It was the highest daily candle close today since, August 19th. It's kind of a dragon, I guess. Kind of a dragon. So it's kind of playing out, right? I mean, it's not always that support's hold, but not always. But this time, the support did hold. Did initially. But it's not about the breakdown itself. It's about what's the data going to show us after. Well, the data showed us that sellers could not keep prices below 1095 for more than a few days, and then you got to rally back above it, and then that's a lot of times like that confirmation that the bottom's in at a support to spring. And there you go. I mean, you're talking about retraces with Fibonacci from a high to low. You're already at a 38% retrace, but we know the golden zone on retraces like this normally take you between the 382 and the 618. And if you're lucky, you get a 786. So you've approached, or you're approaching the golden zone.
$Ionk, please. Happy belated birthday.
So Darwin, thanks, man, for the belated birthday wishes. Thank you, dude. Yep. Quantum computing. All right. Well, let's see how well it goes. When I think Brandon cut off China from all chip manufacturing, and any company that was working in China, they can't work in China anymore, and if they were threatened to lose their citizenship if they didn't stop, and they have to come home if they want to, something like that. It's pretty great. I mean, it's pretty that's a huge move, and I don't know why it's being talked about so seldom, or just it's not a big thing. Like, it's not everywhere on social media or news or something, right? With what Biden did to, what he passed with the chips and the American chip makers in China. IONQ is, IONQ is Korean. Is it? We're about to look at it. It's the next request, right? Nope. No, we're going through a phase of deglobalization, certainly. Okay, here it is. Basement levels, you could say. And just think about the bubble on this one. November 2021, the same month Bitcoin called its own top, right? We didn't know at the time, but I'm just saying. The same month Bitcoin topped out, IONQ topped out. Bitcoin lost about 74% of its value from the top. This one lost a good 88% of its value from the top. So way, way worse. But 88%, I know that number. From the high to the low, it hit all-time lows. But 88%, hello? What do we know about that? That's a magic number. That's where it bottomed out for now. Pretty cool. I mean, what? I mean, you requested it and it's like, hey, is it doing the same thing? I don't know. I mean, it's kind of hard. I think you're reaching to try to call this some sort of M shape. I don't think it is one, right? I mean, how do you M shape it? It would be kind of, again, reaching. Try to do something like this. I mean, technically it works. A little too deep there. You can't go above a 1618, you know, so it's not formal of any sort, but it is an M shape, I guess, that did lose 88% of its value from the top to bottom, and it is trying to one time, two times. It's trying to put in that confirmation low. I mean, this is a better area to try to be identifying a harmonic than it would be on the other one we looked at, which was TMST, right? After a big drawdown, you then develop the M shape. But it already did that. It did it one time already. I don't ever come to this, you know, but it did do something like that already. Right, 886, whatever. It M-shaped and then bottomed out thrice pretty much before running, you know. So you got to wonder, is it, you know, confirming the bottom at an 88% retrace, very slight accumulation. We'll pay attention to it. Keep your eye on it. It's not terrible, but it recently hit all-time lows. It's pretty close. Not far off its all-time lows, which was $5 and wait, sorry, $4.16 was the all-time low. Okay, I've been live for over an hour now. Kind of just like, meh. Again, man, like, you can burn me at the stake, disown me, call me trash. You can do whatever you want. Okay, because like, the market conditions are just terrible. The movement of price, besides intraday, it doesn't go anywhere. It's been 4 months, man. And we're at the same price we were at 4 months ago. And the movement is, there's not much of it at all. And again, until you break like 18.4, I think that to me would be like the cutoff. It's like you've fallen below this low from, you know, the 21st of September, the 886 really. When you break that, all right, it's done. I'm not going to long this. I wouldn't long this shark here, because the context is so bad. But at the same time of me not longing it, not having conviction on it, I can still identify it and bring it up to you. Because of how many countless times harmonics have appeared like this and have played out, but we do have terrible context for that to happen. You know, it's the same situation as when the Gartley developed. In 2018, it began, and then early 2019, it completed, and then went up ridiculous amounts. You know, so I'm gonna bring it up on my stream because, you know, we're harmonic traders and we respect them and all that. And but you have some terrible context, and you have like things are breaking on financial markets, and it's more than one part of the financial market that's being really tested and is very vulnerable. So there's just too many ways that this thing could get destroyed. Just wait, man. The composite operator, when a bad news event comes out, and this this was like the every day we talked about it in 2020 on the way down during the circuit breakers and all that. Composite operator, what's he going to do tomorrow? What mega news-driven catalyst tomorrow is going to come out by the composite operator that's going to drive these prices lower? Well, today it was Apple, cutting production, and I mean, great on the price, whatever, I don't care. But just Netflix telling you that year over year, Q4 is going to guide down 68% on revenue or EPS. That is crazy. Interest rates are higher than they've been since 2008. There are other things, man, and they're not on the top of my head, but every day, just new pieces of information are coming out on multiple different markets, and that is why, talking about the shark being valid, that is why the bears also have a valid argument, in my opinion. And it is, again, the right-angled ascending broadening formation. It's there. It's complete. It has already partial risen. The partial rise has occurred, and you're just waiting for the meltdown. There's nothing wrong with thinking that way too. Because when you're below 19,891, when you're below the high from 2017, that's why I wouldn't go long on the shark right now. Because when you're fine, break the level, back test it, hold it, show me some stronger accumulation above the 2017 cycle top, not below it. Give me a real reason, to want to be long on that shark. But we've seen these play out many times this year. They were as reversals, they were ungodly for the whole semiconductors market. This developed as a bearish reversal, not a bearish continuation as it is in this context. It was a reversal where it was a rally, and then this pattern developed. On the DAX, the German 30, it developed and was what ushered in a massive reversal. But then we looked at Hex. Before the summer, really, late spring, this exact same pattern developed on Hex that helped us understand where it looked kind of good at first when it started really failing. And this was here and very clear. I was going to say, the downside on this is like 50%. It dropped 60% in a day, one day on Hex. I'm talking about this pattern right here. Where is it? Oh no, did I get rid of it on my watch list? Because one of the charts broke that I used to look at all the time. Was it I don't remember which one it was. I don't even think I can look it up anymore. Yeah, man, I don't even be there anymore. Let me just show you. It's gonna be on other charts. It was right here, really. It was that, right, the support there is being tested. It's different on this one, but the other one was perfect. The same situation here. Right-angled, ascending, broadening formation, a base of buying, and then the upsloping resistance, higher highs with the same lows. Once this breaks, 50+% downside, and again, not in a day, but when it did break for real, it did go down 65% in 5 days, so I was pretty close, right? So this is what's developed on Bitcoin. This is where Bitcoin is right now. It has gotten destroyed, this pattern's developed, and Bitcoin's just sitting, hanging out right around here, right around the buy wall. Of course, dude, Walmart, well, it's back above the key levels too, isn't it? Yeah, look at this thing. It was at such dangerous levels and it broke back above it. You could say wedge breakout maybe, yeah, but that 200-day moving average, I'll worry about. Like, when do you ever do that on Walmart? When do you ever fall below the 200-day moving average and then regard it as resistance twice while showing lower highs? It just so rarely happens. But yeah, you're talking about a wedge. I'll draw it, Thank you, dude, for the 15. Hey, man, it's a wedge, bro. All right. You got a wedge breakout until tomorrow. What happens when it gaps down? Just kidding. But what's more important than this local structure certainly is the horizontal line. Resistance support. April 2020, resistance, support, right? A lot of lows and a lot of resistance. And now you're above it. So I think that's good. Can't be that surprised if this thing rallies. I mean, you're at the bottom of a range, right? And you're back above it. Let's see if it can hold it though, because it's just day one, right? It's day one. What were you doing yesterday, Jeffrey? Yesterday, market participants were back testing that level as resistance. It just happened today. We gapped up and you held, and that's great and all. And after a drawdown like that, if it goes for a 618886, not that big a deal. All right, so far it's only gone about 59%. Yeah, it could make its way to the 618 or the 78. The 786 makes too much sense because it's the top of the range. But there you have it. Yeah, it did it, man. What was it? Costco. Look at Kruger, man. I think that was like, oh my god, dude! Look what happened to Kroger. Yeah, the parabolic trend, man. Look how, hey, man. There's nothing wrong with you or anyone else in the world, or even me, identifying a shark, which is this is Bitcoin, all 20, late, November 2021 here, and then here is June 18th, and then the shark develops, and here we are on Bitcoin. But Bitcoin didn't do this. Bitcoin's not reacting and reversing here. Bitcoin's just doing this right now. Bitcoin's just doing that. There's no bids coming in like there would be here. This is a successful harmonic reversal, right? Bitcoin's not doing the successful harmonic reversal stuff yet, and it may never do it. I'm just saying, right? You can't get mad at me for identifying its validity because it's not fallen below the 886 really yet, or even X on Bitcoin. But this is a normal reversal. Okay, well that reversal's over. Okay, blow off top twice, right? Double top, man. Confirmed it. And so you've broken the parabolic trend line. You even really back tested as resistance. Now you're rolling over. You made a lower high. You're below the 200-day moving average. You did yesterday break below the old all-time high from December 2015 on Kroger. But hey, of course, right? The squeeze, man. Too many people in shorts and puts. So it just gaps up and it's up 2.5% and closes above that level. So who knows? But it doesn't look good. It looks like the trend is reversed completely. Look, man, people are getting out. They're getting out. They could be getting out. And if it rallies and goes to 49.69 and makes a lower high, it'll be more people getting out subtly and quietly. So you looked at, you wanted me to look at Walmart, but I'm looking at Kroger, and that took me down a rant on sharks after drawdowns that can be successful. This is a perfect testament to that. But again, it's the same picture in certain ways. It really is. But no one's buying. So just as equally as this could happen I think if you're lucky. Because I still think like bears just have it right now. I mean, just as easily as that could happen, this could happen too. Because the right angle is sending broad information. You're in a lot of trouble here. And I'm thinking more down, but what happens if this occurs, Bitcoin goes to 22.1 and then reverses again later? Like, that's where we are. Like, where that could happen, I guess. But probably long term, we're gonna see 14K eventually. It's just, is it gonna come like this week, next week, or is it coming in a month or two after the midterms? Because the VIX had to dump and pull back some, and the people with their puts had to get wrecked, All right, man. Well, I don't know. You could consider this a good or bad stream, but considering with the lack of activity in the markets, really, and liquidity, you got to be empathetic with, just when we go days and days and weeks without real movement besides intraday bull crap that just gets sold off or bought into. Be empathetic of me as a streamer trying to provide market updates when the updates are almost like, why did I even go live today? you know, try to sprinkle in education while I can. So it's almost like, you know, I'm gonna do a poll because the stream's pretty much over, but I mean, it's kind of like what will prevail on Bitcoin. The right-angled ascending broadening formation plays out. We go much lower. The bullish shark, substantially higher. I mean, I think I'm going with the right-angled ascending broadening formation because of the context of 19891. But, dude, it's just... You could squeeze because things have been obliterated, right? The wave... We just looked at Apple down 24% in a month or something, or 2 months. It just did that, and so it's hitting support now, and it might rally for a little bit. And that could take Bitcoin with it, the whole market with it. But that's a pretty good poll because my God, man, you can't say they're not both there. They are both there. The shark already did a type 2. It's almost like a type 3. It is, yeah, I think it's coin flip stuff, man. We know the long-term trend's bearish. We know. But we also know how long the bear trend's been going on and how in bear markets, insane things happen because the lower you get, the more liquid the market is, therefore the easier it is to move the markets.
It's China to me, China.
Rumor, Brandon to ban petroleum export.
Wow, how much do we export? Dang, dude, weren't we like net exporters before he got in office? And now we're banning exportation, or we might soon ban the exportation of petroleum. We can also just go to the roulette table, unfortunately. Brad, we could do that too.
This macro sucks. Didn't they just say inflation is entrenched? Hopium on every corner these days.
Hopium every day? Dude, I have no hopium. I'm just staring at conflicting ideas that I could see one person identify and be like, dang man, so bearish. And then one person could identify and be like, hey man, there's a chance for a reversal here based on, we just looked at a chart that presented the exact same argument. And it played out. It went up like 100+%. You saw it. Like we looked at that chart, whichever one it was. It was, which one was it? Walmart or no, Kroger. Kroger had the shark after the same type of massive drawdown. And then it hit this level, the exact same level, the exact same chart, and went up insane amounts, hit all-time highs. Bear market's transitory, get wrecked. Yep. I'm just like running out the clock a little bit just because I want to get the poll. You know, we only have like 100, less than 100 votes on the poll. So it's kind of like, remember we used to get like over 1,000 votes on these polls. Just, it's the times, man. It's the times. It's not cool to be a streamer anymore. Yeah, dude, earnings every day, man. Let the clown market usher in more clown noses. Few more votes. And Elon Musk. Wow. I was looking at Tesla that, but dude, it's gonna keep squeezing, man. This is why Kathy Woods is not bankrupt yet, because the level that it fell below on Friday, and the buyers defended it with a gap up. Right? Look, that level that's so important. Is this considered a breakdown? No, because there was. Yes, you can confirm a bearish breakdown on the daily and weekly. Yes, you can confirm it with those, but that doesn't mean it's valid yet. You have to get follow through. There was zero follow through. So the buyers have technically, for now, until this changes, they have defended 209. 209 has been defended. And that's it. Like, what's happened when buyers defend this level for real is you see runs up to 256 and they get as high as $300. So it's not on the realm possibility that could happen again. But I'm just saying, right? Like, every day we're here and we're looking at these charts, and it's like, as of today, there is no bearish breakdown. There was on Friday, but then Monday it was completely invalidated. No edge at all either. Good God. No bullish edge. The poll's close. It should be close, man. What does that tell you when, a lot of times, like, patterns play out because it's their textbook, and people around the world are easily able to identify that structural development on a chart, like a double top. Hey, man, you can't say this wasn't extremely discernible at an extremely important level. So you'd think there would be no doubt people around the world that know how to identify double tops. There's no wonder why this thing dumped and played out. You're confirming this is resistance. You fell back below it, and that was all you needed, and went straight down to the next level of inflection. But this level's holding for now after a couple days. So yeah, when it's unfortunate when you have two potential arguments, one is extremely bearish, the other one's marginally bullish, because it could play out and just make a lower high than September 12th and then roll over later. But you have two identifiable things going on. One's really bearish, one's kind of bullish. That's the issue, man. Like, when Tesla was at that double top at that level, there was no argument for anything bullish there. Nothing existed that someone could identify after researching and studying traditional technical analysis. There was nothing on Tesla that was like, hey, here's the argument for bulls. When you were failing to break $300 for a second, third time, and you were closing back below it, there was no argument. Here, kind of arguments, right? So we got 158 votes. 56% of the small sample size says the right angle descending Brownian formation is going to play out. We're going much lower. That's probably the edge you have now. I mean, I thought the partial rise, 70% chance, but my God, it just buyers keep defending this level. You still might have that 70% chance of downside because the partial rise is still valid. Just figured, like, why is it taking so long to break down? Right, the partial rise is still valid, still today. But it's like, it's a 7% chance of breakdown. When's the 70% going to actually happen? When are we going to actually flush and break down? Or swing traders, not traders? Do you mean there's swing traders and day traders market? Going to be put to the test very soon, Kilvizi. We are not going to stay here for that much longer. This is not going to just go sideways for the next month, most likely. There's going to be resolution. And when you're below 19,891, I just don't know how you can have any conviction in that shark. The context is there, and it's just bad. Like, I hate this asset below this level. How could you like it below it? Like, oh yeah, this is a great area, man. Great area. You get above it, you back test it. That means we're showing real accumulation, and you're back testing a resistance at support. We might be in real good shape there. But for here, no way, man. We wake up, you're down 10%. All right. Well, I appreciate everyone coming out. Hopefully I can try, man. I'm really trying in these market conditions. Okay. Really trying. And you can't get mad at me for talking about the shark and the right angle to sending bright information. You can't. You just simply can't get mad at me for that. All right. So thank you for the likes, love, support, contributions, everything between. Kush Blunt, Session Top Jesus at $20. No, well, I guess Jeffrey in 30, but it's super chat, so it's probably the same. So appreciate it. I guess I'll just be back. One of these days, I'll come back and we got resolution. It'll be a huge breakdown or a huge break up. And one of these conflicting patterns will prevail. I'll be back. Till next time. Respect the TA.
gonna dip.
I don't know, sir.